And the public good, the heated debate over allowing Metro Police access to some private security cameras.
Tennessee in the nation's spotlight. Families and lawmakers set to square off before the Supreme Court on the state's ban on transgender procedures for children.
And Governor Lee in the hot seat, his response to a state ethics violation surrounding a paid trip to Florida.
Unfulfilled promises when it comes to downtown safety. What's holding up fencing along Nashville's riverfront after some tourists fell into the Cumberland? Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Well, we start tonight with breaking news. Metro Council members engaged in a heated debate over using private cameras for policing.
Now, the program they're being asked to approve only uses cameras that local businesses volunteer, but even so, not everybody's on board. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live downtown at the Metro Courthouse tonight where the council meeting is underway. Any updates yet?
Yes, Scott and Megan. Well, there still hasn't been a vote yet, but Metro Council members are still debating this contract. Now, they have heard from Metro Police, along with dozens of residents, both for and against this FUSIS contract, and that's what's deferred the vote several times in the past. But tonight, they're hoping to finally have a decision. Metro Police asking Metro Council to end the debate and approve the FUSIS contract. The FUSIS camera network lets police monitor outdoor cameras from private businesses with permission, only when there's a call for service. Some Metro Council members believe this is a good tool to help police, especially when there's a public safety issue.
It's when a call for service comes in, so it expedites those investigations, and it also helps to better respond to active crime scenes. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell echoing Johnston's point. He says it's a key public safety tool, and he adds it assists in solving or stopping crime in instances where communities might be targeted by hate, while critics worry it could be used as a tool to target migrants.
My take is always that we can do it other ways and not through a system that could potentially be used as a surveillance system that can be used for mass deportation of our people.
Something other council members worry about as we see a change in the political landscape.
I do believe that MMPD will act with fidelity, and I believe that they will honor their policies, but there are concerns about entities outside of MMPD and if they get access to the technology, how that could be used to harm Nashvillians.
But Johnston doesn't buy the argument.
We don't store data just randomly. We don't just access cameras randomly for no reason. It's when a call for service comes in because something bad has happened and they need the police help.
And again, no decision has been made, but Metro Council is hoping to vote on that this evening, and we will keep you updated throughout the night as we hear more. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. This is a talker, and we want to know what you think. Do you consider police using private security cameras, as proposed here, an invasion of privacy? You see the numbers, 436 people weighing in. 50.5% say yes, but an almost equal number, 49.5%, say no. The poll's live right now. If you'd like to vote, you scan the QR code there on the right-hand side of the screen, or you can go to our X page the old-fashioned way. Our handle is @FoxNashville, and we will update these results for you later in the newscast. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of people are talking. This question creating some buzz on the Fox Nashville social media pages. Sarah here posting, my friend's cameras quickly led to the identification/capture of 2 individuals who committed a brutal double homicide in my county. Meanwhile, Joe posts, due process, get a warrant. This debate also involves several different community groups who are pressuring the council. You can see their arguments for and against these FUSIS computer program cameras, which will make camera sharing with police possible on the Fox Nashville YouTube channel. While you're there, we invite you to subscribe.
Continuing our breaking news coverage, President-elect Trump's pick to head the Drug Enforcement Agency is dropping out.
That's right. Hillsborough County, Florida Sheriff Chad Croneister says that the gravity of the situation forcing him to withdraw. He says there is also more work to be done in his home county.
Well, continuing coverage, Tennessee in the national spotlight as the Supreme Court will decide a case impacting 3,000 teens here in the volunteer state. Families and lawmakers are set to present their side of the debate on Tennessee's ban on transgender care for children. Current Tennessee law restricts children from receiving hormones, puberty blockers, and surgeries. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live from the state capitol after speaking to a parent and a lawmaker on opposite sides of the issue. What'd you find out, Karen?
Megan, Bean Chapman's child is transgender. Chapman says knowing the Tennessee legislature's ban on transgender care for children was coming, their son felt forced to move out of state. Chapman says enough is enough. Dozens of people wait outside in front of the U.S. Supreme Court ahead of a historic hearing Wednesday. The suit challenges Tennessee's ban on transgender medical treatments for children. Bean Chapman is among the many coming from Tennessee in support of overturning that law.
I really feel for parents now in states like Tennessee where they can no longer access gender-affirming care for the children.
Chapman feels deeply because their child is transgender.
My son is now a young adult, and he moved out of state because it's not safe and welcoming for him in Tennessee.
Chapman says not having access to treatments like puberty blockers, hormones, and surgeries are harmful to transgender teens, and claims without access, they are more likely to commit suicide.
I will say that gender-affirming care for us was life-saving.
Co-sponsor of the bill against transgender treatment for kids, Senator Jack Johnson, argues it's meant to protect children, not harm them.
These procedures are irreversible, and so we shouldn't be doing that to a child. I have no problem with someone who is an adult.
Even though no law bans kids from cosmetic surgeries with parental consent, Senator Johnson says this is more serious because there's no going back.
Critics would say that this ban on transgender care is government overreach. What would your response to that be?
Yeah, when it comes to protecting kids, we all have an obligation. Parents have an obligation. Elected officials at all levels of government have a right and a duty to protect kids.
Johnson says we can offer transgender children counseling and support until they are old enough to have access to the treatments. The Supreme Court's decision could have a sweeping impact on hundreds and thousands of children nationwide. Chapman remains hopeful that the law will be overturned, even with a conservative-dominated Supreme Court. Reporting live in front of the Capitol, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, the debate over transgender care for children has been going on for years now in Tennessee, and you can see both sides of the debate on fox17.com. Just search transgender children.
All right, let's talk about the weather. If you boil it down to one word, what do you think it is?
Cold.
Cold, that is it.
That's my word.
That's going to be the story for us, too. Tomorrow's not going to be terrible, but then another shot of cold air is going to come in. Today was very cold, though.
Yeah, we couldn't wait for this, and now I'm ready for it to be over.
Some of y'all couldn't wait for it. I never wanted it. I only wanted the heat.
I'm with you.
I know. I remember us talking about that. Yeah, we both like the heat, but today it was anything but. 34 degrees. That was our high temperature here in Nashville today. Just 2 degrees above freezing. That's as high as we got right here. Other areas stayed even lower than that throughout the day. Temperatures right now, teens and 20s for most of us, basically all of us. 20 in Cookeville, Crossville coming in only at 19, Lebanon 19 too. Again, 27 right here in Nashville, 25 the current temperature up there in Clarksville. Tomorrow's not going to be bad. It's actually going to feel pretty nice. We'll get a quick warm up. Highs going to the lower 50s for a lot of Middle Tennessee, but then this cold front's going to be moving through Wednesday night into Thursday, and then that is going to really bring in another shot of cold air. High temperatures on Thursday and Friday, not going to be too far off at all from what we hit today. As far as any sort of rain chance goes, I don't think we're really looking at much of a rain chance. We could get a few very light showers on Wednesday. I'll have more on that here in just a bit.
Continuing coverage of President Biden's decision to pardon his son Hunter. Fox 17 News' Matt Gelko with the bipartisan pushback tonight.
The decision by the president to pardon his son Hunter Biden is being skewered across the board.
Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Breaking news, President Biden has issued a pardon for his son Hunter Biden.
While it's been good fodder for late-night shows, there's been strong pushback against it, even from members of the president's own party.
Then you do pardon him, putting the personal ahead of your responsibilities to the American people. It just gives the American people a sense that there's one system for the rich and powerful and another system for everybody else.
And the Senate's top Democrat wouldn't answer questions on it.
I got nothing for you on that. As I said, I got nothing for you on that. Thank you. I've got nothing for you on that. Any other subjects? Any other subjects?
The sweeping nature of the pardon shields Hunter Biden from legal trouble he's already been convicted of, and any other potential crimes over an 11-year period. It's a saga that began with claims his laptop was Russian disinformation. That laptop was eventually authenticated and used as criminal evidence against Biden. A number of Republicans have bashed the flip-flop decision after the president had repeatedly promised to not pardon his son.
Well, I'll put it this way. If it was my son, I'd pardon him too. But here's what I didn't like. Don't lie to us. Don't tell us you're not going to do it and then do it. That's not what a president should be like.
The White House says more pardons are coming, and that could include other members of the Biden family. Critics say that the pardon sets a new political precedent and probably gives Donald Trump the push he needs to do broad pardons of his own during his next term in office. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Just ahead, promises of change downtown along the riverfront unfulfilled. We'll tell you what's holding up fencing along the Cumberland after a couple of tourists fell into the river.
And Tennessee's governor in the hot seat, the move leading to an ethics complaint and why his office says they made it right.
Continuing coverage as Fox 17 News investigates several people who fell into the Cumberland River downtown this year, one of them fatally. Now, chief among the incidents was college student Riley Strain, who fell into the river and drowned after an event with his fraternity downtown.
Well, Nashville's mayor now proposing new funding to make the temporary fencing along Gay Street near the river permanent. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino has the update.
4 months after Metro Police say college senior Riley Strain fell into the Cumberland River after a night out, losing his life.
He's my baby.
Another daunting 911 call to Nashville police. A mother reporting her daughter missing one weekend in July, saying she got separated from her friends on Broadway.
She was having dinner, and now she called me, and she was screaming that someone is chasing her and wants to kill her. And I'm not even sure that she's alive anymore.
The 33-year-old woman disappeared for more than 6 hours overnight. Police say they followed a trail of her blood, shoes, and a pinged phone to Gay Street, which borders the river. Incredibly, rescue crews spotted the woman climbing the riverbank after she fell into the water.
We all know that the river moves really fast and has a strong current. It's a miracle she was able to pull herself out.
It's the same area where police say Riley Strain went in, as well as another man pulled from the water just weeks later.
We have a lot of bluffs, and so I think we want to make sure that where there are those kind of blind spots, that we keep people informed that some areas of the riverfront may be less safe than others.
Crews put up this temporary fencing along the stretch in September. Now the mayor is proposing $1.5 million in riverfront safety improvements in his 2025 capital spending plan. That was sent to Metro Council last week for approval. The funding would make the fence permanent, along with other measures like better lighting and signage.
Our concern was another situation like what happened with Riley, because it is in the same area.
But the area where Metro Police believe that Riley Strain fell, right here underneath the James Robertson Parkway Bridge, has still not been reinforced with any new fencing. You could see here underneath this single railing a sizable gap to the ground.
That is not a fence in my opinion.
Brandy Bainan helped search for Riley Strain, finding his debit card under the bridge. She launched a petition for better fencing, especially in the spot where Riley is believed to have fallen.
Your toddler would be able to, if you turn around for a second, would be able to walk right underneath there.
I asked the mayor's office and the Nashville Office of Emergency Management if they plan to put up new fencing underneath the bridge. So far, they have not given a definitive answer, saying in part there are several options, all of which are going to be considered.
A study commissioned by Councilmember Jacob Coupin is currently underway to assess all possible safety improvements needed at the riverfront. There's also a new volunteer group called the Red Frogs operating a tent downtown to help people on Broadway get water, charge their phones, and even find a safe way home if needed. I'll certainly keep you updated on the progress of that permanent fence near the riverfront. I'm Kelly Avellino for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, today was a really cold day for us, and that's going to be the story for us as we go through the next few days. But tomorrow is going to be a little bit of an exception. I'll have more on that here in just a second. But for today, we did not see any sort of active weather as far as any rain or snow goes. We did have a little bit of that moved through yesterday. Most of the snow today, though, in the country, that's been way to the north of here. The Great Lakes area is still seeing some of that snowfall going on right now. Some winter weather alerts up in parts of that part of the country. For us down here, though, we're not going to have to worry about any of that. It's just going to be really cold. Temperatures right now, they're in the teens and 20s. 27 right here in Nashville around the plateau. We have upper teens and lower 20s. Very cold out that direction. Even our more southwestern areas, too, we're seeing some of those temperatures in the mid 20s right now. 25 the current temperature in Columbia. Winds aren't really that strong right now. Single-digit wind speeds, but it's just so cold out there. You factor in those light winds, and it makes it feel like it's even colder. It feels like 20 right here in Nashville. And then areas along the plateau, 18 is what it feels like in Cookeville. Feels like 15 right now in Gallatin, 19 in Clarksville. So a very cold night for us once again. Tomorrow, though, we do get a little bit of a warm-up. That's going to be out ahead of this cold front that's moving through. With this, we could see a few showers, very light. Try to move into our far southern counties. I think most of that activity, though, is going to stay in areas south of here, down in the parts of Mississippi and Alabama. That cold front is going to clear us out. Sunny skies for Thursday, but it is going to bring in another blast of cold air. It's about to get really cold again for Thursday. It's going to stay cold into Friday, Saturday. We start to warm things up a little bit more. Not much of a rain chance at all for us on Friday and Saturday. I think we're going to keep it all dry, and then on Sunday, we're going to start it out dry. A little bit later on in the day on Sunday, we could bring in a few showers. This model has actually backed off of that rain chance a little bit with this newest run that's come out. About 5 o'clock, some of our western areas could see a few showers move in. That will get more widespread overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning. And here's what we're looking at through Monday afternoon. Could still see some scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms into the mix, but I think a lot of that will just be rain showers. For tonight, 26 degrees here in Nashville. Some areas obviously going lower than that, already colder than that along the plateau. Another cold night for us. That'll be the main story. Winds will be out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So if you have any outdoor plans tomorrow, that's going to be the day to do anything like that. Any sort of outdoor activities or things you need to get done. 32 by 7. We start out cold, but then we warm up nicely by the mid part of the day. By noon, we should be in the lower 50s, mostly sunny skies. And then by 5 o'clock, we'll remain in the lower 50s. Thursday, though, we started out cool, 31 your temperature by noon. And then by 5 p.m., we could have temperatures dropping down to the upper 20s and then into the teens as we head on into the night. So it's going to be a few nights for us here these next several nights. I'll have more details coming up on your 7-day forecast in just a bit.
Also, we had the governor's office going on the record about an ethics violation, how the governor himself resolved the issue, and his complaint tonight.
A Nashville holiday tradition going global, the big offering from Belmont.
Business news tonight, some great news. Nissan launching the redesign of its Murano at the plant in Smyrna. It has been making that popular SUV in Rutherford County for the past 4 years. And today workers celebrated the new model rolling right off the assembly line. This new Murano will be on sale at dealerships around the country next year.
Well, tonight, another sign that the city of Mount Juliet is growing. City leaders gathering today for the groundbreaking of a new elementary school. Central Pike Elementary, designed to take some of the pressure off of Gladeville Elementary. School district leaders say Wilson County is growing overall and expect to add more schools over the next few years.
Tonight, a big musical celebration at Belmont University this evening. The university hosting the second of 2 Christmas concerts on campus tonight. The first one just before Thanksgiving was recorded and will appear on Amazon Prime December the 11th next week. The concert showcases more than 600 Belmont students from all 50 states and 30 foreign countries.
To be able to be in Amazon Prime Video throughout the whole holiday season is just a huge bonus for us and an opportunity to share that Belmont story.
This, by the way, the 15th year for the Christmas concert at Belmont.
Well, the governor under fire for an ethics violation, what he's accused of doing.
And keeping yourself out of the emergency room this winter, what you need to know about pneumonia.
Hey there, I'm Jennifer Waddell from Fox 17 News this morning. Coming up Wednesday, we're going to take you live to our nation's capital where the U.S. Supreme Court will hear a case based out of Tennessee. The fight regarding transgender procedures and children taking center stage. We'll be updating that story live for you from 4 to 9 a.m.
This is important because it shows that even the governor is not above the law.
In politics tonight, Governor Bill Lee's office says he paid back the Alliance Defending Freedom. This after the ADF picked up the tab for its travel expenses to its conference over the summer.
Now, he agreed to repay the nonprofit after an opinion by the State Ethics Commission, essentially that gift violates state law. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker now with more on the governor's response.
In July, Governor Bill Lee traveled to Marco Island, Florida for this paid trip as the keynote speaker at the ADF Summit. However, the advocacy group employs a registered Tennessee lobbyist, which violates state statutes. On Tuesday, the Tennessee Ethics Commission asked Governor Bill Lee to reimburse ADF, calling the travel expenses an indirect gift. And now Democratic lawmaker Caleb Hemmer says he's pleased by the committee's opinion.
We're glad that the Tennessee Ethics Commission took an unprecedented step of actually admonishing a governor for unethical and illegal behavior.
A spokesperson with the governor's office says the expenses have now been repaid, but they've asked the Bureau for clarity around their, quote, vague law. In the meantime, Hemmer says he's now looking into ways to clarify this ruling in the next legislative session.
To make the law clear around what is ethical and what is unethical and illegal.
Earlier this year, Hemmer filed an ethics complaint against Lizette Reynolds, the commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Education.
She had attended a junket from her former employer, who also employed a lobbyist. And so that was the key. It was against state law because they were basically had an employer lobbyist influencing Tennessee public policy, and yet they were taking what is considered a gift.
Hemmer says the commissioner repaid the money before being fined. We looked up the state statute, which says a candidate for public office, an official in the legislative branch, or an official with an executive branch may not accept directly or indirectly a gift from a lobbyist or employer of a lobbyist. For the full committee advisory opinion, I have this both on my social media platforms, X and Facebook, as well as on our website, fox17.com. For now, reporting near the Capitol, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kylie, thank you. And again, you can see that entire complaint for yourself at our website. Just look for this story on our homepage, fox17.com.
Tonight, Tennessee State University facing a lawsuit from a former employee. The lawsuit accuses TSU of firing her after she would not bypass checks and balances when it came to getting federal aid. Fox 17 News reached out to the university, and we're told TSU does not comment on pending litigation.
A Fox 17 News health alert tonight as we are in the middle of cold and flu season. Now, this middle point, if you would, comes just as people are starting to gather for holiday parties. And as wonderful a time of year as this is, it's also a great place to spread germs. Joining us now is emergency room physician Dr. Michael Hasty from TriStar Health. Dr. Hasty, first of all, thank you for doing this. And if you will, tell us what illnesses you're seeing these days at the ER.
So we're seeing a lot of cough and cold respiratory symptom diseases, sort of like influenza, but they're testing negative for influenza and COVID. So it's one of the other respiratory viruses that's making people have body aches and feel pretty bad. And we're also still seeing some pneumonia, especially the mycoplasma pneumonia that came up this fall. And so we're keeping an eye out for that. But we have not seen COVID or flu very much yet.
Well, we'll put our hands together for that one so far. You know, the gatherings that I mentioned where a lot of people can catch something began with Thanksgiving. Besides washing your hands, what can we do when we go out there and mix and mingle with friends and loved ones and try not to get sick at the same time?
I think the best way is if you are sick yourself, don't go out and mix with a lot of people if you can avoid it. If you do need to go out, wear a mask. You know, a lot of people wore masks during COVID, and that prevented a lot of spread of disease. And we're not really wearing masks much anymore. But even before the COVID pandemic, when people got sick, they would wear a mask when they would go out to prevent other people from getting sick. And so I think masking and keeping your distance still is a way to prevent spread of respiratory disease.
And like you mentioned, if you're ill, the best thing to do is stay away. I got vaccinated some months back. Is it too late for people to get the flu vaccine? And I got the pneumonia vaccine too. And you mentioned COVID out there. What's your advice on all of those?
Vaccinations are a good way to prevent serious disease. You know, some people will still get influenza if they get the flu vaccination, but you're really unlikely to get so sick that you end up in the hospital or dying from influenza. And you decrease how sick you are, so you decrease how infectious you are around other people. So I would recommend vaccinations, and it's not too late. Even in January and February, people can still get vaccinated if they haven't gotten it yet.
And just so people understand, I think my wife thinks I'm crazy, but it does help, and you are doing the right thing if you wash your hands a lot after you've been with folks or touched things.
Absolutely. Hand washing is a proven reduction for the spread of disease.
All right, some great advice. Dr. Michael Hasty, emergency room physician with TriStar Health. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's been really cold here lately. We have started out December very cold, so we're going to take a look back in November real quick, because November we had a little bit of everything. The warmest day, that was November 3rd, 81 degrees. That was our highest temperature that we hit in the month of November. Our lowest temperature was 24. The 29th and the 30th, we had temperatures that fall below freezing. So we started out, we left November very cold, and that carried on over into early December. The most rain that we got, that was November 9th and 10th. We had a little under 1.5 inches of rainfall. 2 freezing days in November, and now all 3 days so far here in December. There's been a point in time of the day where we've had temperatures fall below freezing, at some points well below freezing. 53, that's the forecast high temperature for tomorrow, just 2 degrees below normal. Should be a really nice day for you, warm considering what we dealt with lately. And then those temperatures are going right back down. A powerful cold front's going to move through and bring a strong shot of cold air. 36 on Thursday, 38 on Friday. Saturday we're back to the upper 40s, and then Sunday and Monday, I think those are going to be 2 of the warmest days, upper 50s, lower 60s. Unfortunately, we do bring in a chance for some more showers as we hit the early part of this upcoming week. I think we're dry through the start of the weekend. Sunday afternoon, some showers moving to our more western areas. And then by Monday, I think that's going to be the best rain chance for us. And then for the following time frame, December 11th to the 17th, I think we're actually going to be looking at a better chance for slightly above normal rainfall amounts.
Brett, thank you. In Operation Crime and Justice, the daughter of country star Wynonna Judd is in trouble with the law again. Deputies in Albemarle County, Virginia say Grace Kelly stole a church van and a trailer back in October. Kelly faces several charges from that, ranging from grand larceny to driving without a license. Kelly, you may remember, was arrested for indecent exposure back in the spring and 3 unrelated misdemeanors in August.
Well, a dangerous infection, what you need to know about pneumonia.
Plus, the president-elect back on the world stage again, what we can expect from him when it comes to the foreign policy front.
And a Fox 17 News health alert, avoiding a potentially dangerous infection targeting your lungs.
Now, pneumonia is common this time of year, and for some people it can really be severe. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen to explain how you can protect yourself.
Every year in the U.S., pneumonia causes more than 1 million hospitalizations and more than 50,000 deaths.
This is the time of year where respiratory viruses start picking up.
Pulmonary Dr. Joseph Cabaza with Cleveland Clinic says there are several types of infectious pneumonia, but bacteria and viruses are common causes of the lung infection. People at increased risk are adults 65 and older, and that risk continues increasing with age. And children younger than 5, the younger they are, the higher the risk. Chronic medical conditions can also put a person in danger, including heart disease, liver disease, lung disease, diabetes, and those with a weakened immune system.
Close spaces and minimal ventilation, that's kind of a perfect storm for anything that's spread via an aerosolized way.
That's why Cabaza says colder months, when people spend more time together indoors, makes it easier for all germs to spread. He says a key to protecting yourself and loved ones is vaccination.
The big three that can give us really bad viral pneumonias, let alone bad viral illnesses, are influenza, COVID, and RSV. And there is one vaccine for the most common and deadliest kind of bacterial pneumonia, which is called streptococcal pneumonia.
Cabaza says good hygiene practice can help slow the spread as well, including hand washing, not touching your face, and covering your mouth and nose when you cough or sneeze. I'm Amanda Chin reporting for Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And we have a blast of cold air that's headed our way. I'll let you know when that arrives, and then also when we might be looking at a little bit of a warm-up coming up here in just a bit.
I'm Atra El-Nashar in Washington with how President-elect Trump is trying to kickstart his foreign policy agenda 7 weeks before taking office.
In politics tonight, President-elect Donald Trump retaking the international stage ahead of his inauguration, heading to Paris for the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar shows us what lies ahead for the new administration.
He doesn't take office for another 7 weeks, but already President-elect Trump is testing the waters of his new foreign policies. On the hostages held by Hamas, Trump says, if the hostages are not released prior to January 20th, 2025, the date that I proudly assume office as President of the United States, there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East and for those in charge who perpetrated these atrocities against humanity. Those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. Trump did not offer details on how, but his statement was praised by some Israeli officials. Trump's soon-to-be National Security Advisor, Republican Congressman Mike Waltz of Florida, offered this.
It's time to drive this home and what we're calling the President Trump effect, where suddenly everybody's ready to deal.
On Russia's war in Ukraine, Trump made tall promises on the campaign trail.
I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
But a close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin just told Bloomberg News there's a 50-50 chance of an eventual agreement with Trump. The first test of Trump's sway on the world stage may come on the economic front. Trump recently threatened Canada and Mexico with crushing tariffs if they don't meet his demands on border security. President Biden called it counterproductive.
The last thing we need to do is begin to screw up those relationships.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum spoke with Trump on the phone. It's not clear what, if any, agreements were made, but Sheinbaum later said there will be no potential trade war. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went all the way to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump over the weekend.
It was an excellent conversation.
Once Trump is sworn in, we'll be watching to see where he decides to go on his first international trip, which can signal a president's priorities. His first foreign trip in his first term had 6 stops, starting in Saudi Arabia, then Israel, the West Bank, Vatican City, Belgium, and Sicily. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.
Looking ahead to the weekend, we've got some great sports stuff for you. It starts on Friday night with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas taking on Boise State for the Mountain West Championship. Kickoff for that game, 7 o'clock.
Then we've got a jam-packed day of games on Saturday, starting with men's basketball matchup between Kansas State and St. John's. Tip-off is at 10:30 a.m. Then at 12:30, it's another men's matchup between Wisconsin and Marquette. Then check out Major League Soccer action at 3, the LA Galaxy taking on the New York Red Bulls. Then it's back to college basketball for the women, Tennessee taking on Iowa. That game's at 6. And then, if you're not tuckered out by then, we've got more women's basketball at 8 o'clock. Louisville battling it out against the University of Connecticut.
That's a lot of sports. You may want to try to figure in a nap in there somewhere. Yeah. On Sunday, back to the NFL, the Buffalo Bills taking on the LA Rams. Kickoff for that game, 3 p.m. on Fox 17.
That cold is sticking around.
It sure is. You know, I think tomorrow is going to be a little bit of a break, and then boom, another shot of cold air.
Like, what do you mean by break?
Well,
like,
still below average, yeah.
The cold slightly above freezing.
A little bit above freezing, probably the lower 50s.
So a warm-up?
A little bit of a warm-up. And you know, the bad thing is we're still actually going to be a couple degrees below normal for this time of year, but a warm-up relative to what we've had to start out this month. This has been a really cold start to the month. We've hit freezing, like I was just talking about, every single day at some point each day so far this month, December 3rd, today. 9:48 p.m. the current time, not seeing anything popping up on the radar right here in Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky. It is all dry up there too. it's cold as well. Temperatures in the teens and 20s over here on the plateau, and even out a little bit further west of that, we have some cold readings coming in. Upper teens in Cookeville, Crossville, Murfreesboro popping up as 18 degrees over there, 23 in Tullahoma, 27 right here in Nashville, and then back out further west, about the warmest we get on the map. That's 30 over in Camden. We do have a little bit of a light wind out there. These winds aren't even strong, but when you factor in these single-digit wind speeds, it does make it feel colder than the actual air temperature out there. It feels like 20 right here in Nashville. Feels like 17 right now in Cookeville, 13 in Gallatin. So it is very cold out there any way you slice it right now, and it's going to stay that way through the rest of the night. As far as any rain goes, not expecting any of that for most of the day tomorrow. Most areas will stay dry. This is late tomorrow evening. This is 8 p.m. We could get a few mainly light showers that try to push up into our far southern counties right here in Middle Tennessee. I think the bulk of that, though, is going to be staying in parts of Mississippi and Alabama. So south of here, maybe a few light showers along the plateau. None of that should cause you any sort of issues. That cold front will sweep through here and bring in some colder air once again for Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday looking very chilly. We'll be talking about temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. No rain, though, expected. Friday we're going to be dry, and then as we head on into Saturday, I think Saturday is shaping up to be a dry day too. We will start to warm up just a little bit, still very close to normal for Saturday. And then as we move on into Sunday, late Sunday, we could bring in a rain chance over here in our more western areas. It does look to get more widespread, though, Sunday night into Monday morning, and then that'll carry on over through the rest of Monday morning on into Monday afternoon. For tonight, though, 26 the low here in Nashville. Other areas already below that. Winds out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for your 7-day forecast, again, just a couple of cold days to come. 36 Thursday, 38 on Friday, Saturday 49, and then Sunday finally back to near normal. 57 the high temperature on Sunday, and then we're in the lower 60s on Monday. There will be that chance for some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms possible for us on Monday, and then some of these overnight low temperatures coming up here soon. 26 early Thursday morning, 19 early Friday morning. I think that's going to be the coldest morning for us, and then we do start to warm up at least a little bit for the overnights as we head into the weekend and early next week.
But thank you. In consumer news, the Thanksgiving holiday and the shopping that starts right after is make or break for many U.S. businesses. And tonight we're getting our first real look at the numbers. The National Retail Federation says roughly 197 million people shopped during the long holiday weekend, the first 5 days of it. Now, reports also show that e-commerce sales jumped by nearly 15%. So that's certainly moving in the right direction there. Get that percentage in there. Many people are using buy now and pay later plans. Those offerings saw more than $991 million in sales.
Well, impacted by the snow, the escape happening just in the nick of time.
And some good news at the Golden Arches, how company leaders at McDonald's successfully navigated some very murky waters.
In your consumer news, Pizza Hut once again getting a makeover, and if you were hoping for a throwback to red cups and lamps of the 80s, you'll be disappointed. The pizza chain, featuring self-service kiosks and a front-facing pizza-making station. There will also be a drive-through. Pizza Hut hoping that the changes will get you inside the store instead of using third-party delivery apps that charge businesses for their services.
Caught on camera, a narrow escape by a truck driver stuck on snowy train tracks. Take a look. A milk truck driver in Erie, Pennsylvania, trying to cross the tracks, but got stuck there. You see the snow and you see the result. The train, of course, could not stop, slammed right into the tractor trailer. As we say, though, the driver got out in a nick of time and no one got hurt.
Good news for fast food fans. The problem no longer an issue at McDonald's.
In consumer news, the E. coli outbreak for McDonald's is over. The Food and Drug Administration says the issue connected to Quarter Pounders is resolved after the company stopped serving onions from a particular source. The CDC reports 104 people in 14 states got sick and one person died in that outbreak.
In your business news, Frontier Airlines will soon offer first-class style seating. It will only be in the first 2 rows and will not start until late next year. The premium seats will give you more room. The company is also offering loyalty program perks, which will include seat upgrades and discounts on baggage.
It is a chronic pain syndrome known as CRPS, and it is so bad it's often referred to as the suicide disease. I'm Liz Bonus, how a newer laser therapy might help you find relief. It is just ahead.